so my name is Christine Samuel, and this is my roommate Nandana, and we're going to be talking about Texas SB 12, or the Parents' Bill of Rights. So, for an overview, we're going to be talking about the Texas SB 12 bill today, and to summarize what it entails, it is labeled the Parents' Bill of Rights. It requires parental consent for kids K through 12 to learn certain topics regarding sex, sexuality, and race. Clubs and organizations regarding these topics are also banned. So, for the first question, what prior knowledge do you have on this topic?
So I was aware that parents will have more authority and responsibility over their children's academics in school, and there'll be less DEI implemented stuff through school systems as well.
Okay, what aspects do you agree with, and what benefits do they have for teachers?
I agree with the concept of having more consistent expectations from parents as well as teachers. So there's always a consistent balance of things that they know regarding the children. And it benefits teachers because it protects teachers from having political disputes like with their students that's not needed in classrooms.
Okay, so if those are the benefits that it has on teachers, what aspects do you agree with, and what benefits do you think they might have for parents?
So I think parents, it'll be more beneficial to them as well because they'll be more involved in their kids for their academics, and they'll just get a lot of transparency for what they're doing in school and what they're involved in.
And what aspects do you agree with, and what benefits would they have for students then?
So students will learn like stuff without being placed in the middle of like adult political debates as well, so they don't need to have like um, their own opinions for like controversial topics, and like they can like stay away from those and just like focus on the facts of like our history.
Speaking of history, how do you think SB 12 impacts teachers' ability to provide students with accurate historical and social information then, if there's less that they can teach about history and social information?
So there's not less that the teachers will teach. They can still teach history and facts and like what happened in history, such as like slavery, civil rights, and like discrimination. They just like could stay away from like their own views and political views and opinions, and like just focus on what happened.
Do you think students from LGBTQ plus or racially diverse backgrounds might be affected by these restrictions since the clubs and organizations that have to do with them are banned?
No. So I think when we're in our school times and in school hours, this bill is not directing anyone. Anyone can do like stuff outside of school, but this bill is not directed towards anyone in specific and not targeting anyone. So and everyone has free will and they can do whatever they want outside of school, but in school it's just better to stay away from DI.
So if these topics should not be discussed in school settings, and we do have free will to learn whatever we want when we go home, but if home is not a safe space and now schools aren't a safe space either, how would students who choose to learn about racial differences or the LGBTQIA community learn about those things or relate with other people if it's not their peers in school?
So I think that's a very interesting and valid reason, and I think that should be touched on later in our government settings at a later time. So yes.
What thoughts do you have on the current generation of students that will be impacted? They will be voting soon. Will they have significantly less information about current issues compared to the past generations?
I do not think they'll be having less information on current issues. They will still be learning about our history in school, and they will be able to go and explore that further in their own homes and through the internet. So I think that if they are interested in voting, that they should go research their interested topics themselves at a different time other than school.
Okay, now on core values. What core values, such as parental responsibility, student safety, religious beliefs, or freedom of education, shape your support of SB 12?
So, one of my core values is parental control and responsibility of their children. I think parents have a responsibility to oversee their education and their values and morals and teach them what they would like to teach them. And I think student safety is also really important because if they were to be in a classroom and teachers were pushing their political views on the children, like that would not be safe for them. So, yeah.
And would you say your stance is more motivated by protecting children from certain topics, preserving family values, preventing political influence in schools, or anything else like this?
Yes, so as I said before, I think my stance is more motivated on preventing political influence, just because that is not an environment that political influence should be in. Um, and yeah, that should be outside of school.
What beliefs or household beliefs from when you were in grade school impact how you view SB 12?
So, growing up, I was always understood that parents were the main moral and educational guides for me. Like, I always looked up to them, and they always taught me the right way and, like, helped me create my own morals. So, yeah, I believe that, like, parents should have more responsibility.
And has a particular teacher, family member, religious leader, or an event in your own life impacted your view on parental control in education?
Yeah, so as I said, I think my parents had a big impact on my education and my morals and my view on this bill. And for example, my sister in school right now has more transparency to my parents, and my parents have more clarity on my sister's going through in school because this bill is being able to help them be more involved in her academics and school life.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly summarize what you said, but correct me if I'm wrong. You believe that SB 12 benefits teachers, parents, and students, and an important aspect of that for you is that politics remain separated from the classroom, and students and parents have more transparency with each other on what's going on at school. Another point you made is that students are still free to learn whatever they wish outside of the classroom setting, so it's not harmful to them either. So we do both agree on student safety being a priority, but to clarify, I just want to ask you one more question to wrap it up. SB 12 also states that any psychological or psychiatric help that a student receives on school grounds must also be consented to by a parent. Do you feel like this might raise any concerns on student safety?
Could you give me a little bit more clarification on the question?
Yeah, so if school is not a safe space for them to connect with their peers on things like sexuality or race that they might relate on, and if home is not a safe space for them to do that either, they may want to reach out to psychological or psychiatric help. But if that also has to go through parents and that might not be the safest situation for them, do you think it would still be a safe option?
So since these kids are also minors, and some of them are also in elementary and middle school, I still think that parents should be notified if they're seeking psychiatric help in schools.
Okay, well, thank you for being my interviewee today.